Welcome to another Kunes Cars Convo. My name is Ron Hutter, and I am the Regional General Manager for the 3 Sycamore stores. And today we are meeting with Norm. Norm is the president of the Kishwaukee Rotary Club here in Sycamore. We are going to be driving a Mercedes GLE 450. So Norm, what inspired you to become part of the Rotary Club?
Well, I think the main thing really for my whole professional career has been really with working with community development. And I was at universities for 50 years and was involved in a lot of outreach types of activities. And I think what you find in a community is that a really good, strong community has to be built. And I think it has to be built and maintained. So it really became important to me in early in my career that I wanted to be involved, working with local groups to make them stronger and to figure out ways to make the community a better place to live. So that's kind of motivated me then to naturally look for some civic organizations or social organizations that were interested in improving quality of life and helping people, stronger leadership and these kinds of activities. So that's pretty much kind of a natural evolution from my professional career to my retirement career, and that's kind of why I ended up with Rotary, and Rotary has those kinds of characteristics.
Interesting. You brought up your professional career. What was your professional career?
Well, I actually I spent 50 years in universities. I was chair of an economics department and dean of a college of business, and started an institute for rural affairs at Western Illinois University, and at that point, after I retired, I decided to continue working, and so I came to Northern for family reasons, and we have I spent I think about 15 years in the Center for Government Studies at NIU, and did a lot of outreach type of activities. We worked with Genoa, Chabanon, Hinckley, and a bunch of smaller towns.
Interesting. And so, what is the Rotary Club's main focus when it comes to contributing back to the community?
Well, Rotary is really a large international organization. It's been around for a long time, and the main focus of the national group or international group is really eliminating polio. And so they've been really very successful over the years. And I think we're now down to there's only 2 countries that still where polio is a serious issue, but they do continual kind of activities, fundraising and so forth, and just working with those communities. And that's just one dimension of the national organization. When you get down to, organization-wise, there's just a national organization or international organization, and then there's a district level, and then there's community level. And of course, our club is at the community level. So in addition to polio, it's just a lot of different type of local activities that surface in the community where the clubs can make a difference. And a club, if you think about it a little bit in terms of if you're not real familiar with Rotary clubs, but the purposes are to find people who are interested in the community, but to build professionalism, to have fraternalism, to have make from friends, and just collaboratively work together to on local projects that surface in the community. So it's just a very fun organization. Rotary actually, the basic principles of the national principles, and they carry all the way down to the club. But the questions that they ask are, is it the truth? And is it fair? And does it build goodwill and be able to make better friendships? Is it beneficial to everybody concerned? Those are the 4 major Rotary tests, if you would. And we like to add another one, is it fun and worthwhile? And so that's really what. So there's a certain amount of doing these projects, but there's another dimension of let's have some fun. Let's just do some things that are enjoyable.
Kind of like getting out in a Mercedes and just cruising the countryside of Sycamore and DeKalb a little bit, right?
But very much the same way.
There is a perk to being in part of this, right? Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
And another thing you commented on earlier about whatever you do, you should do the best you can.
Yep.
And I think that's really a great motto, and it's something that I think Rotary tries to do, or our club at least tries to do, that we try to do whatever we do well and have fun doing it.
How does the car feel so far?
It feels great.
Good. I love this thing so far. I love it a lot. All right. So you said that you guys get involved in the community a lot. What are some specific things that the Rotary has done or doing in 2024?
Well, we have just so many projects really that it'll be hard to go through all of them, obviously. But I think the main project that we get involved in, and it's this fundraising project, but it's also a big fun project, is the Taste of DeKalb. And this happens in late September usually, or in the fall. And it follows the 5K race and ends up downtown in Van Buren Plaza. And so we have a day-long event from 9 till 4 or so. We have bands there, local bands, and all the rest, or a lot of the restaurants in the community basically have booths, or we have food trucks and these kinds of activities. And so people can mingle, they can do bouncy ball events for the kids. We have a magician wandering through the crowd, and it's just a place or time to have good time. So on a weekend, and then what we do with that is raise usually about $10,000 or so. That's what our game is, and we then allocate those funds to different kind of clubs or organizations in the community, and it's on a competitive basis. So once we've raised the money, then we invite the clubs or the organizations, the groups, to submit a written request, and then we judge what we think, is it viable, and is it going to make a big difference, and can our contribution make a difference, and go from there. And the nice thing about the Taste of DeKalb really is that we have Meta and DeKalb Unlimited, these kinds of groups that are really contributing to the effort. And so it's a community event. It's a lot of fun for people. It just kind of meets the requirements of what Rotary should be doing.
Awesome. And you guys did mention to me about some high school scholarship program that you guys, and I mean, don't get me wrong, the food thing at the DeKalb, in the downtown DeKalb here sounds awesome for a guy of my stature, right? But I mean, there are a lot of heartfelt things that you guys do connect with as well, correct?
Yeah, as you when you look at, you mentioned scholarships, we provide 3 scholarships, one to each of the high schools, or KEC, and the 2 high schools in the area, and those scholarships are a little bit different. We're not really looking for the students that have the straight 4-point averages or something like that. We're really interested more in students that have overcome major difficulties, and it kind of tears your heart out when you go through some of the applications we get. I mean, there are students who have been homeless, or students who have lost parents, or one or both, or students who are new to the area from another country, and then something happened that they didn't have access to services and things, and so we're able to give scholarships to these students, and the students have to have overcome a major significant difficulty. And we don't press the students for details, but there has to be evidence as submitted by the counselor, and the student has an application as well. But the evidence submitted suggests that there has been an obstacle, they've overcome it, and they're now on a really good path, a leadership path. So it's really kind of the turnaround that we're looking for.
So you said they were homeless, some of these kids?
Yeah, we get, I would say on an average year, and I'm guessing now, but we probably have 8 or 9 applications among the 3 schools, and sometimes a little bit more. But yeah, there will be situations where students actually have been homeless. I mean, their family's been homeless, and or a parent has died, and something else has happened, but they're just really, really difficult situations. But the students have literally taken charge. They're active now in school leadership roles. They're doing sports, or they're doing other kind of civic activities. Some of the students have 2 or 3 jobs that they're working while they're still in high school, but they're still able to maintain some good jobs or good grades. So they're really impressive, the students, and we wish we had more money to give them, but our scholarships run as an average of about $1,000 a student. Sometimes, it's kind of interesting that the club members, at the end of some of these reviews, that we do with the students in making the awards. Well, the counselor have the students write the application, and then the counselor has a faculty member write an application to support it or a recommendation. They come to us, we then review them, we then go back and interview the student personally. And so the students have to come for 15 or 20 minutes and talk about what they want to do in the future, these kinds of things. And we've had several instances where club members would say, well, we only have $3,000 to give out, but we'll throw in another $500 personally to make it happen. This happens.
That's awesome.
Happens fairly frequently. So it's a really worthwhile thing to go through.
Okay. So of everybody that is part of the Rotary Club, is there a special process to become part of it, or can anybody join the Rotary Club? How does that work?
Yeah, the Rotary Club is, of course, welcome to everyone. It's a Christian organization, or not Christian, but it's a religious organization. And essentially, the people who are interested in doing public service and being involved in the kind of things that Rotary stands for, we basically have them come to a couple of meetings to get a feel for the club and see what kind of things we're doing, because we want them to, if they join, we want them to be active, and we want them to make a contribution. So then they, after a couple of meetings, if they're interested in joining, then they fill out an application form, and a person in the club sponsors them, and then they go through a kind of an oath or Pledge of Allegiance kind of activity to the Rotary principles, and then can become a club member. And then, again, we expect them to participate, and if they can, sometimes we meet at 7 o'clock in the morning. It's a Sunrise Club, so we meet at 7 o'clock in the morning on every other Tuesday. And so sometimes if they have young children or something, it's hard to make all the club meetings, but they participate in our activities that we're raising money for, or whatever we're doing, and that's how you become.
Okay. And is there a minimum age or age requirement to become part of this, or can younger people become part of it?
No, we encourage, I would say there probably is a bare minimum. I'm not sure what that would be. But,
okay.
But I would think, we certainly encourage all ranges or all ages. It's kind of difficult. The newer or the younger groups now are really involved so much in social media and these kinds of activities, and they're actively involved in community activities, but a lot of times it's not in the traditional ways.
Okay.
So it isn't like a club that meets regularly or something. It's maybe doing things online or doing other kind of activities. But yeah, we welcome the people again to apply and go from there.
Roughly, do you have an idea how much money every year you guys give back to the community?
I would say, we do the $10,000 from the Taste of DeKalb. We do 2 or 3 other events that raise $3,000 or $4,000. So I would say we're probably looking at maybe $25,000 or something like that from the club as a whole in different kinds of activities.
Sure.
In a year. And then we also contribute to the Rotary. So we have Rotary International. So we raise money each year to support the Polio Plus Fund, these kinds of activities. And again, our club is about 25 members, so it's probably relatively smaller than a lot of the clubs, but it's a very active club. And you mentioned earlier what kind of activities do we do. For example, we take a month and do deliver meals on Meals on Wheels. And so
I just did that yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah, with VAC. That was neat.
Yeah, that's what, so we do our thing there. We have, of course, the scholarships that we just talked about. We
So you don't only give back in monetary, but you guys actually give back your time.
Very much so. At Christmas time, well, in different ways. At Christmas time, we basically have a little party and collect some funds. And so we donated, I would say about $1,500 or so in cash to the Salvation Army. Plus we gave probably $600 or so in toys to adopt a family kind of groups. And Adventure Works actually is there, and that's one of the places that we have supported in the past. We just rode by. Another thing we do, we have as a fun event, we had last year a whiskey history and sampling event where we raised $2,000 for scholarships in conjunction with the Sycamore Whiskey Club. So it was a fun activity. We raised some money, and it was educational and really just a fun type of activity, a good example of what we do.
And it sounds like you were able to sample some of it.
Yep, we were able to do it.
Yes, that's always fun too.
The nice thing about it too is that it was an educational event. It was done in such a way that so we knew pre-prohibition what was being used to make whiskey, the types of whiskey. After prohibition, it wasn't just like here are 5 types of whiskey. But
Sure.
it was why and how it went together.
Very cool.
It was just a great event, and we'd like to do something like that again.
Very neat.
Another one our district had a goal of raising for each club member 20 pounds of food and donating it to the food pantry.
Okay.
And so that was the district goal. And we came in this year by working with Terry Ryan and some Let's Talk Turkey and some of the Freezing for Food. We ended up, I think, with right around 50 pounds. So we more than doubled what the district goal was for our particular club. That was per member. So that was good. The district grant that we just received, we applied to the Rotary Foundation, and we got $1,500 for them, and then we matched the $1,500, and we gave it to the Federated Church of Sycamore, and they were putting up a new classroom. The Kelby area, with all the new growth and jobs and things, we really need to have more workers. And if you have a 2-wage earner family, or maybe a one-person family, they didn't have good, solid places to get daycare center, quality
Sure.
daycare center. So we provided them with funds, and then they found some funds from some other organizations, and so they opened a classroom. So there's 30 students now that are preschool students that are basically having high-quality education, and we had a little part of that.
Awesome.
So it really, we range in a lot of different activities depending upon what kinds of things are of interest. But I think the fun thing really for me is that, you're out doing positive things that are just fun. I mean, it's just, you feel good at the end of the day. They're not burdensome. It's not, terribly costly financially, but you're just giving a little bit of time and you're giving back.
What challenges have you had in the leadership role that you're currently in with the Rotary Club?
Well, I think the big thing now is we're kind of a post-pandemic period. Prior to the pandemic, we were meeting in the mornings at 7 o'clock in the morning at the hospital basement, for example. We could get a breakfast there and so forth. And then, things had to change, obviously, for the hospital. So
For COVID, yep.
So now we're meeting, in another location. So that's one issue. And I think another issue is that with the pandemic, people got kind of plugged into Zoom and these kinds of things. Well, we have Zoom at our meetings as well a lot of times, because some of our members go to Florida or in winter somewhere else. And so there's less, I think, of a interest or willingness to come to regular meetings. And so I think we're seeing some of that. It's coming back, but so we're trying to kind of adjust to that.
There's nothing quite like having that personal interaction, though.
Well, that's the purpose, yeah.
Yes.
We want to build the friendships. And the Rotary clubs what's nice about them is there are a lot of people are in some way related to business. And so we have insurance agents, we have real estate agents, we have bank people, we have accountants and professionals, we have university people. So we have just a good mix. And so if you really want to know what's going on in the community, you can come to a meeting, you can probably ask somebody and find out.
Sure.
And the speakers, as you know, we try to have speakers coming in that are talking about the community as a whole and what's happening, and you get just a lot of insights.
Very good. How does the Rotary Club stay connected with the border Rotary clubs, international, the district, and so forth? And also, how does the community stay informed with those differences and changes that are coming?
Well, communication, of course, is always a challenge because so many things are going on, but it's so much easier now with the internet and the web pages and so forth. So we probably, among the clubs in the community, we probably could collaborate more, but we're also busy doing activities. But we try to share with each other what kinds of activities we're doing, And then, well, for example, tomorrow the Sycamore Club is having a meeting out at the Convocation Center. And so the president of this, or I'm not sure he's president, but he's not president this year, but one of the Sycamore Club members actually was at our meeting this morning, executive committee, and they talked about what they're going to do and invited our club to come. And so some of the Sycamore people, for example, probably were at the whiskey event, and some of the people are working at the Taste of DeKalb. So we try to collaborate in best ways we can. The nice thing about Rotary is that the Rotary organization, internationally, nationally, and at the district level, all stands for the same principles, basically. So if you're interested in doing club service and building friendships and being ethical and so forth, then you really have a choice of, does your time commitment allow you to come to a noon meal or a noon event or an evening event or a breakfast event. And so the Sunrise Rotary really attracts people who want to get to work at 8 o'clock in the morning, let's say, for sure. But they also, their time available is in the morning. And then somebody else may very well find that noon is a better deal for them. And then we have a DeKalb Club in the evening, and we have the Sycamore Club meets at noon, and we meet at 7 o'clock. So it's once you're committed to belonging to a Rotary type of program, then you have a choice of what fits your schedule.
Okay. Is there any future plans for the Rotary to expand?
Well, I don't know if it's really expand in the sense of the club, but we're always interested in members, and we're always interested in new projects. And so as we look ahead, we just started the whiskey history and sampling last year, and I think we'll try to do something like that again. The Taste of DeKalb is going great, and we're always happy to make it larger. We just, as people come to us and say we have this need and here's an opportunity to serve, and we try to figure out what is our capacity and try to do it.
Okay.
So yeah, we do expand as we go each year.
Fair enough. So Norm, how would somebody who wants to get involved in the Rotary Club, how could they go ahead about getting involved?
Well, I think, as I mentioned before, the first thing would be, find out as much as you can about Rotary and the kind of principles we have and the kind of activities that are involved in terms of the Rotary Foundation and Rotary in general. And once you've made that decision, then I think you think a little bit about what are the local clubs available. And if you go to our website, which is https://KishwaukeeRotary.com. So KishwaukeeRotary.com is our particular site. And each club has its own site. So the person could, look at the sites, see the kind of activities that we do. And the sites are already, pretty well done, pretty complete. So you look at that, look at the site, select the ones that you think you might be interested in, and then, make a contact from the site or get a hold of one of the people belonging to the club.
Okay.
And you come and attend a meeting. We like to have people, have a meeting, come to a meeting or two, that they get to know us, figure out is this really what they want to do and how they want to do it, so forth. And then they make an application, and then we they get a sponsor, and then they go through the oath and so forth with the club.
Beautiful. Can you share a particular reward or memorable experience from your time involved with the Rotary Club?
I would say, looking back, I've been in Rotary for about 15 years. I started in Macomb when I was at Western Illinois University, and then continued here. I think the ones that really come to mind to me as far as a fun experience was the whiskey event. I mean, it was really well done. Old Forster had really put together a nice display and so forth. So I think that was really just a fun activity. That Taste of DeKalb is as well. I think particularly rewarding is looking at or working with the students. I think when you go through the application process, see the kind of hurdles they've overcome, when you then interview them, and a lot of them have such positive attitudes that, for what they're going to do and what's happening. To me, that's the most satisfying.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Norm, we're just about back to the store here, so I do want to thank you for spending this time with me today, and I wish nothing but the best for the Rotary Club, and I'm sure a couple of us from the dealership here will be over to be joining and being a part of the club. So we appreciate everything the club does and everything you're doing as the president of the club. So thank you for that.
We thank you for your support and doing these kinds of activities to help us publicize the organization. I think my feeling is that the more you know about Rotary, the more you're going to like. And so that's why we'll leave it.
I love it. Yeah, it's a great way to look at it. So,
It's a great car.
Yeah, it's a great car. It is, absolutely. Well, thanks again, Norm. Appreciate everything. Have a great day, okay?
Yeah.